Hey y'all, insight number 3, continuing on pretty much from insight number 2, but a different message, but same vein. This is verses 14 through 26, and it's talking about, because the first part talks about what is religion, which you talked in there, so go have a look at insight number 2 if you want to talk about that, but loving God, loving people, the 2 great commandments, but like how to really enact that. In a deeper vein, he goes on to talk about we need both faith and works. Now, this is a concept that most of us are familiar with, yet somehow still seem to miss the point of that, or balance it properly, or well. Maybe there's no proper way to do it because it'll be different for everyone, but balance it well would be a more correct way of saying that. So, in 14 it says, "What doth it profit, my brethren, though a man say he hath faith and not have works? Can faith save him?" So, in other words, if you're just having faith but not actually doing anything about it, can that alone save you? No, it can't. It's great that you've started there. It's not enough. It doesn't build anything. It becomes a very stagnant faith and a very closed faith. It doesn't allow for growth. It doesn't allow for experience, and doesn't really help you more than belief. And that's great, as I said, but it needs more. It needs a foundation, and a solid foundation, and that will come through works. So, down in 15, he says, "If anyone's like naked and destitute of daily food, like what are you going to do? And one of you say unto them, Depart in peace, be ye warmed and filled, notwithstanding ye give them these things which are needful to the body, which doth it profit." So if you see somebody who's in need, you can't just say to them, "Have some faith, it'll be fine." Well, they're having faith that you're going to help them. So help them, right? That's the works part. So acts and faith. It's not either or. It's not just doing all the work and not having the faith, because that's a very tick box mentality, which again, some days you just need that. You need to go help people, and you might not be having that much faith that day. But generally, try to have faith in there and to see the deeper, and to pause and really make it meaningful for you. And then he says in 17, "Even so faith, if he hath not works, is dead," being alone. It can't be there. And then he says in 18, "Yea, a man may say, Thou hast faith, and I have works. Show me thy faith without thy works, and I will show thee my faith by my works." And it's like, well, okay, that might need a little interpreting, but you can break it down, and you can look at it in a bigger picture. Basically, if you've got faith, and like I would say to you, "Oh, you've got faith, I've got works. Show me your faith without works. So you show me how to have faith, like how you got faith without actually doing anything about it. And I will show you my faith with works, and let's see the difference. Because you can't really explain faith without the work. You need the works, whether it's work on yourself, work with others, work on behalf of Christ, like whatever you're doing, they go together. They are a symbiotic relationship that grow and work together. You need them both. And then he gives 2 examples. So the first one's Abraham, and he says that in verse 21, Abraham was justified by works when he had offered Isaac up on the altar. He went to do that, having faith that he was in the process of the work part, having great faith that the Lord would provide a way, that he wouldn't have to sacrifice his own son. But that was something Abraham needed to do. And if you know about Abraham, if you can remember back from the Old Testament, he was going to be killed himself on an altar, and he escaped. So this would have been highly traumatic for him, thinking that his father didn't like him because he went in, remember, and broke all the false idols. I'm like, here's my man. He's a good dude. So he was going to be offered up like that, and Christ saved him. He called out, and Christ saved him. Allowed him to get away. He had something, I can't remember what happened, but anyway, he was able to break his bonds and get away. But then he was on the run. So this would have been a very historically traumatic experience for Abraham, being that now I finally got a son, and the Lord's asking me to do to him what my father wanted to do in hatred. I'm supposed to do this in love, and I'm like, I can't even tell my son this, or he's not going to come with me. And how do you go about that? Can you imagine the anguish he felt? This is real faith but he continued the work. It was you could say a test or a trial, but I think it was just a refining process, a way to teach Abraham that actually I will always provide. I have provided for you in the past. I am providing for you now in the seemingly impossible, and I will ask you to do things that will sound ridiculous, but do them because I will provide. So, and then in 22 it says, seest thou how faith wrought with his works, and by works was faith made perfect. It was. He didn't question after that at all. And what he needed to do and the covenants he needed to make, which became the Abrahamic covenant, which is what Judaism is based on, it's powerful, but he needed that experience. It says in 23, the scripture was fulfilled. It saith, Abraham believed God and was imputed unto him for righteousness, and he was called the friend of God. Imputed is a long word to just mean like he's now kind of inducted into the, priesthood order, if you will, or like he had priesthood, but just he's in that company of people that God can call on and know that they're going to listen. I would love to be called that too. I'm still struggling with that, always listening. I try. I'd like to be that. And then he goes on again to say, you see then how then by works that man is justified and not by faith only. So you need the both. And then he gives another example, Rahab, another awesome woman. Love her. He says, likewise also was not Rahab the harlot justified by works when she had received the messengers and had sent them out another way. She risked her life. She risked so much to give them warning and to help the people. Now, we don't know what got her into that situation or what choices she made, but she made good choices in helping those people. And those two messengers that came and she hid them and she sent them out the back door, promising to continue to help them while she answered the front door to the soldiers and said, oh, I don't know where they've gone. I don't know where they are, because she didn't. She's not lying. She doesn't know where they are. They're going out the back door. She doesn't know where they are right now. So she helped them. She did that. And it was just really cool. And that's another example of complete faith, because the soldiers could have quite easily killed her. The messengers could have given her up for all sorts of things could have happened, but she had faith knowing that that's what she needed to do. And then it says in 26, for as the body without the spirit is dead, so faith without works is dead also. Now that we hear a lot. And as I said, it's a concept that members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints really have a good grasp of, but then I still think they miss the faith part a little. They do a lot of good work, or they do nothing and rely on the faith. There's still a balance that they could do well, to be improved on. So yeah, it seems that we spend so much time serving we would neglect the daily faith strengthening, or even let both sit and gather dust. It seems to be that way from what I've observed of people. Now, for whatever reason, there's a lot of stuff going on, but this is our foundation that keeps us good, that keeps us going. This is our base. This is our core value structure. We need to strengthen that and keep it updated. For each of us, this principle will appear different in practice. So 2 examples are given, as I said, Abraham and Rahab, both quite different, yet both had faith and works harmonized in their life. So how can we do this better? How can this principle work better in and for your life right now? So do not let just works or just faith or both of them sit there and gather dust. We need to combine the two and help them to work in our life right now. Harmonize them like Rahab and Abraham did. And it will often require that spiritual stretching, but we can do it. So give it an honest work. Have a look at this and think, how can I do that better? How can my family do that better? How can I encourage my friends to do this better? Can I lead by example? Can I encourage them some way? There's a multitude of ways you could do that, and if you pray about it, you'll be inspired what to do. But faith and works go together. They work together. They strengthen each other and then strengthen you in the process. So keep up with that. Anyway, that's that one. Awesome stuff from James so far, right? We're going to go over to James 3. Really good. I'll see you there.